Hi there guys, I want to welcome you to the very last video in the Lost Odyssey backyard, and the last video for Lost Odyssey actually. This is going to be an unedited and uncut 100% battle between myself and the Immortal. So he is the ultimate boss of this game, not including downloadable content, and I'm just going to show you what it is I've done and the strategy that I've used. I choose to take all 4 Immortals, and then I choose Cook for white magic. You can also bring Sed if you'd like, but those are the only 2 that I'd really recommend. Perhaps Tolton, but Jansen and Mac are pretty much useless, I find. So we get some really awesome boss music for this as well, which is pretty cool. So here he is. This is the Immortal. The 2-star condition is to defeat him, and the 3-star condition is to defeat him in under 30 turns, which can be a little bit of a challenge. So he is an aerial enemy with an earth element, so there's a few things you can do. I'm just going to show you what I'm doing first of all. With Sarah, I'm going to go in with composite magic, and I'm going to use the attack Windbound. This will basically put a wind mine on all of our characters, so if he attacks us using a physical attack, he will get countered with wind. Black magic does not work on him, does 0 damage, so that's a good way to use wind against him without actually casting a spell that's not going to do any damage. I'm using Divide with both Ming and Cook. What this does is it will inflict damage on him based on how high your HP is. So if Ming stays with her 5,500 HP, she should do about 5,500 damage. The first attack you'll see in his arsenal is Sneeze. This will make your party's guard condition fall. There is no sense in trying to get that back because he's just going to keep doing it. So don't waste your time with that. It is frustrating though because your back row is left completely unprotected, so that's why I suggest bringing Immortals. If they do die, they will revive themselves. As you can see there, it did as much damage as the amount of HP that she had. Divide you'll want to use when you have high HP, and then there's a spirit magic, I think it's spirit magic spell, Reversa, that you use when you have low HP, and it has the same effect. And that's basically my strategy, is to use Divide and Reversa. I put Wind Mine on my party, and what you can do is if you are wanting to do a physical attack strategy, you can put Aerial Killer Rings or Wind Rings on your party. Don't buff, because what will happen is if you buff, he will actually turn it into a debuff. If I were to go in and use Powerous on Kaim, he would actually turn it against me, and Kaim would actually do less damage than he would originally do without the buff. So buffing is not recommended, because overall it will make your attack power, magic defense, and defense probably a lot lower than it would be in the first place. And Shadowist is I would say it's his main attack. He uses it when he has high HP for the most part. Until he gets into low HP, you'll see a lot of him using Shadowist. Unfortunately, we don't have anything that's going to absorb that, so we're just going to have to take it. And I'm taking a little chance here. I guess I've put a little bit of a buff on my party. I've put all Generatus, which will allow me to get a massive amount of HP back each turn. And since I'm not doing much damage, I'm going to switch to a Wind Ring, and I'm going to see how much that does. And I'm going to see if I can find something for Seth as well. And then with my ladies back here, I'm just going to keep doing Divide when I have high HP, and then I'm going to switch to Versa when I have low HP. And then I'll also use them to heal as well. And usually every single time you attack him or you hit him with magic, he's going to counter. I don't know if you guys have seen that pattern, but he'll counter with all curse or shadowist most of the time. All curse is essentially useless if you have Ailment Resistance. So all curse is like a saving grace because he essentially wastes his turn using it, giving you a little bit of an upper hand. But if he does use shadowist, that's a bit of a bummer because, like I said, you can't really absorb that. You just have to have high magical defense. And because you can't buff, I would suggest skills such as Persistence, Crisis Defense Boost, or Crisis Defense. What that will do is it'll give you a higher defense boost, or it will put complete defense on you, making it so that he does 0 damage for a certain amount of time. I would have skills to have the max HP and MP that you can possibly have. Ming and Sarah, being that they are magic casters, they have completely full MP. They have 999, which is the most that they can get, and Kyle and Seth have 9,999 HP. So they're maxed out in their, I guess, specialties, I would say, quote unquote. So that always helps. If you have the auto HP recovery and auto MP recovery perk, I would also strongly suggest that for all your characters, because I will be using Kyle and Seth later on to do some magic which will require MP. White magic level 8, spirit magic level 8, composite magic are all recommended as well. Like I said, black magic doesn't do anything on him. It will do 0 damage. So if you do Flaris or Aqueous or Groundless, it's going to do 0 damage. So there's no point. Now this is when it starts to get nasty. This is Cube. What Cube does is it will put 98% of your original HP down. So it will take away 98% of your HP, regardless of how much HP you have. Some other skills I recommend are Absorb Attack or Absorb Magic. So every once in a while you have a chance to Absorb Magic or Absorb Attack, because he will do both of those things. So attack you and put spells on you, obviously. And I think that's about it. If I forgot anything, all this information is going to be down in the description below. I'll make sure to do a really good detailed description for you guys of my strategy, as well as some other strategies you can use, equipment I use, skills I use, things like that. And right now, since he's starting to use Cube, which is super deadly, I'm actually going to stop attacking, and I'm going to use all of my party members to do some magic damage. So I'm going to put Spirit Magic on both Kyle and Seth, and Spirit Magic will allow me to cast Reversa. Like I said, you use Reversa when you have low HP, and what it does is it attacks depending on how much HP that you've lost. And then you use Divide when you have high HP, because that will do damage depending on how much HP that you have. And as far as I know, from what I've read and just researching this a little bit before I made this video, that is the most common strategy, is to use Divide and Reversa spells, because it will inflict the most damage if it has been used correctly. But that is essentially my strategy. I really don't do anything different here. I'm basically just going in, I'm going to start using Divide and Reversa to my advantage, and occasionally I'm going to heal up, although there's not really much use, seeing as how he does have Cube, and like I said, regardless of how much HP I have, he's going to take about 98% of it away anyways. So this battle is more or less luck than it is skill. It's very hard to judge a quote-unquote good strategy, because this guy is just difficult to beat anyways, and the longer the battle goes on, the harder it becomes. But as you can see, we've taken out a good chunk of HP, but we still have a long way to go in this battle, so we're just gonna keep it going. But I didn't want to cut any of it out so that you could see just the toil that this battle does have. And I could just share some different strategies and things with everybody. Another strategy you can use that some people have used is just using a lot of items and physical attackers rather than using mages. Maybe because you didn't pick up Reversa or Divide, because you do have to get those from the Caelon King, and then you have to get I don't know. Yeah, you get Divide from the Caelon King, but you should have Reversa from one of the chests. I think we got it in. But if you don't have those, or you're trying this at a lower level, which I do not recommend. I recommend being about at least level 70 before you try this. But even at level 70, I found this difficult, so I'm about 85. But if you don't have those spells, people do use physical attacks more or less, so they put their wind type rings or their aerial killer rings on with their strongest weapons, and they just go ahead and attack, and then they use really good items such as healfuls, and there's another item you can buy that will bring back your party member with full HP and MP and all status effects gone. I forget what it is. I think it's Goddess Medicine. But yeah, you can buy those at the Caelon Village. So the Caelon Village has the best healing items to buy in the game, and by the time you're finished the game, you should have a lot of money to go and pick up those things. And even if you are using the same strategy that I am, I would strongly suggest having healing items anyways, just to make you feel a little bit safer. I mean, there's not really much else you're going to spend your money on. And while you're waiting for an Immortal to be revived, what you can do is you can just kind of use items, and hopefully he won't use Cube on you, he'll use Shadowist or something, and you'll still have a big chunk of HP left. Immortals revive in about 2 turns. So you only have to wait 2 turns for them to come back, and you can pretty much stall in that time frame if you're capable of doing so. But the worst thing about this battle is Cube. It is by far the thing that makes this battle just the most difficult thing to deal with. Because no matter what you do, it just seems like you're not getting anywhere. And I think the last thing, I think I've gone over all his moves with you guys, but the last thing I guess I could probably tell you about is that very, very, very rarely, now this has never happened to me, but I guess it has happened to somebody in the past, is that he can put Generatus on himself, which is the same spell that I have on my Immortals, where I get HP back every single turn. He will do that, I guess, very, very occasionally, and it really, the chance increases if you put Reflect on your party, which is basically a spell that will reflect any magic done to yourself back on him, which I don't recommend anyways. Mind you, I haven't tried it, but I don't see that working very well just because of the caliber of this boss, and things like that for bosses like this generally just don't work. So that would make this battle even more impossible if you could get back HP every turn, which I haven't seen him do. But if you're unlucky and that happens to you, then I guess you're just an unlucky soul. And as you can see, we had just just Kaim and Ming a little while ago, and now we've got all 4 of them, and we've picked right back up. We're back in the high HP. So this really is a huge basis of luck. And I guess I don't really have a whole lot else to say. I haven't really heard of any other extremely good strategy to use, just from reading and also looking up stuff on YouTube. And again, I will leave everything I've said in summary in the video description, and if you don't like my strategy, you can of course go and look somewhere else, and I'm sure someone else has beaten this a different way using different party, different setup, different spells, and things like that. Another thing you can do with items, and I haven't tested this out, and I'm not too sure about this, but with normal buffs, what he'll do is he will use it against you. Now I don't know if he would use it against you if it was an item, rather than you casting the spell. For example, if you used a power drink for getting power up rather than casting the actual spell Powerless, I don't know if the boss would maybe pick up on that and still use it against you. I really have not tested that, and I don't know for sure, but I'm sure if you were brave enough and you wanted to bring a lot of items with you, you know, buy all those healfuls and all those goddess medicines and pick up a few items along the way for buffing, I'm sure you could try that. But I'm too much of a chicken shit to try that. I'm too paranoid. I basically just deck out my party before I come, and then also things like defense boost and attack boost will help you out with that as well, which I guess I didn't really mention before, but you have picked up several accessories along the way that will give you additional defense as well as magical defense along the way. And we are getting down and dangerous. We're critically low on HP right now, and I thought this was the end of me when I was playing. I was basically just like shutting my eyes and hoping that I wasn't gonna die. But luckily I had Persistence, so I didn't die right off the bat there. But now we're down at 1 HP. And extremely luckily for me, Kaim absorbed it.
Okay.
Which is just extremely lucky.
Thanks for the help.
And because of that, we should be able to actually live through this battle and finish it off, because he's really low on HP now, I think. Yeah, he's only got 12,000 left. So I don't think I'm going to fool around here. I'm just going to try to get this done as soon as possible and make sure that I don't die. So rather than spend my time using a spell, I'm just going to go on and attack with Kaim, heal with Sarah, and I'm gonna maybe use Divine with Ming, because Sarah's gonna heal me first. So I'll try that. And hopefully he doesn't hit me with anything really nasty. Yeah, see, I should have gone with Reversa, because Divide's not going to do a lot of damage. It's only going to do about 1,500, but this whole battle is about slowly inching away at his HP, so it's not like it's any different than what we've been doing before. Alright, so 6,000 left. We should be able to finish him off this turn. If we're lucky, if we don't get wiped out. It's too bad Kaim didn't do 6,000 damage right there. That would have been really helpful. And there we go. I think this is actually going to finish him off. Yes! He beat him. It's done. It's finished. Sarah and Ming held on with 1 HP, but we are victorious.
I'll no longer doubt myself.
And I hope that helped you guys. I really hope it did. Whew. Good heavens, I never thought you'd defeat the Immortal. I knew you were strong, but man, what a shock. Oh, so we rock. Our 2-star prize is a slot seed, which was bullcrap, and our 3-star prize for defeating him in 30 turns or less is a quad elemental seal, which really isn't a terrible prize, although I wish they would have given us something better at this point. But I guess I can't complain. It's not too bad. What it does is it absorbs fire, wind, water, and earth damage. So you can use this and then have the one accessory absorb all 4, rather than having each one of the absorb skills in a slot. So you can save a lot of slots that way. Now the battle's over and the backyard is also over. We're gonna come over here and we're gonna get some stuff from the prize exchanger. For 59 stars we get a backyard white book. And for 60 stars, we get another prize, which is the last prize. It is a Siderite sword and a Siderite ring. So there we are. Man, that was a lot of work. So let's check out the sword first of all. It's worse than the one I have, but it's for climb only if you don't have the Age of the King or something like that. And the Siderite ring, 8 times guard condition damage, critical up level 3, and then damage up as well. And then the backyard white book is pretty useless. It's just another key item. But that's it. That's all the prizes. And if we come back and talk to him, we've got nothing left. Absolutely nothing. So 60 stars in total, which is all the battles, 3-star, completely perfect, including the Immortal. So there you go. I have videos for every single one of the classes if you're just watching this one. And the last video, or the last part of this video I should say, is just going to be the achievements and where I left off. I have 36 out of 42 so far, and that is downloadable content as well. So I have all of the backyard ones. There's one for each class, and also defeating the Immortal. Collecting all the spells, collecting all the dreams, getting all the skills for all your Immortals are also all achievements. Doing a certain amount of damage, going everywhere on the world map, defeating all of the optional bosses, completing every single disc, doing a certain amount of things with our rings, getting a perfect certain amount of times in battle, things like that. And a lot of these should come naturally to you guys, but of course I haven't found them all yet, so I'm going to keep working on that. This is my last Lost Odyssey video that I'm going to be putting up. The game is pretty much 100% done for me. I won't be doing DLC, but I want to thank everybody so much for their support, and leave a comment if you have any questions.